Hello there. Since the sentencing of Axel Rudakabana, there have been calls for a return of the ultimate penalty, capital punishment. But we're told we can't do that. As ever, the human rights of the perpetrators of the most heinous crimes are sacrosanct. But what about the victims and their families? What rights do they have, other than to tell their story in court in the hope of extending that sentence? A sentence that usually sees even the worst of perpetrators given a window of hope for release back into the community they so violated. And this was brought into stark relief with the Rudakabana case, with the two main issues being, why couldn't he be handed a proper whole-of-life sentence? And why can we not reintroduce capital punishment for the very worst offenders? Let's look at these whole-of-life sentences first. Did you know there is a get-out clause in them anyway? That a prisoner sentenced to a whole-of-life sentence with no release could still legally get out of prison, because whole-of-life sentences are forbidden by our membership of the ECHR. A prisoner must always have some hope of future release, so the UK government fudged it to make the sentence look like whole-of-life when it isn't. Because to get around the rules, we have given the relevant Secretary of State the power to release the prisoner if their imprisonment can no longer be justified, something clarified by the case of Hutchinson versus the United Kingdom at the European courts and our own Court of Appeal. Further, our membership of the United Nations Human Rights Setup prevents us ever giving whole-of-life sentences to under-18s. However, as UK whole-of-life sentences do have that Secretary of State get-out clause, then maybe Rudakabana could have been sentenced to one, because it would be whole-of-life in name only anyway. But had he been sentenced to whole-of-life, it would have exposed that Secretary of State get-out clause to public scrutiny, and I'm not sure the public would be too happy that what they'd been told was whole-of-life did not mean whole-of-life. And with the way human rights are being increasingly weaponised against the general population in favour of those that would do them harm, the coming decades could see prisoners with whole-of-life sentences being released due to this Secretary of State get-out clause. I would not bet against that. And on capital punishment, Protocol number 6 of the ECHR flat out forbids its use in peacetime. And that protocol is legally binding. So we've been lied to about whole-of-life sentences, and our combined membership of the UN and ECHR prevent proper whole-of-life sentences being meted out for all age ranges of perpetrators anyway. And our membership of the ECHR stops us reverting to the ultimate penalty. Don't you just love human rights? It's about time we left those relevant organisations so we can impose the justice that we see fit.